If we've learned anything about Islamists in the UK, it's that we can definitely trust these guys around young girls. Islamist men and little girls go together like peanut butter and jelly, fish and chips, needle and thread, hammer and nail, bees and flowers, ants and candy, hyenas and antelopes, Hamas and music festivals, Candace Owens and reality. So we should all be thrilled that East London Mosque continues building bridges between Islamists and little girls. The London Evening Standard reports, London Mosque faces criticism over men and young girls only charity fun run. East London Mosque sparks criticism over the charity run open to men and girls under 12 only. Criticism? Criticism? Why would there be criticism? I thought this is what the UK wanted. A mosque is facing criticism over entry rules for a charity fun run. The 5-kilometer run, being held in London's Victoria Park, billed as inclusive and family-friendly, is only open to men and girls under the age of 12. The Muslim charity run has been organized by East London Mosque and was due to take place in London's Victoria Park on Sunday. To be fair, grown men and little girls would be considered family-friendly in Islam. Just look at this passage from Sahih al-Bukhari. Notice the chapter heading. Giving one's young children in marriage is permissible. Why? By virtue of the statement of Allah, and for those who have no monthly courses, no monthly period, i.e. they are still immature. That's Surah 65, verse 4 of the Quran. And the iddah is the waiting period for a girl after a grown man has married her and had sex with her and decided to divorce her. If a grown man marries a prepubescent girl and divorces her, she has to wait 3 months before another grown man can marry her. And the iddah for the girl before puberty is 3 months in the above verse of the Quran. And to illustrate Allah's ruling in the Quran, Bukhari quotes Aisha saying that Muhammad had sex with her when she was only 9 years old. Narrated Aisha that the Prophet wrote the marriage contract with her when she was 6 years old, and he consummated his marriage when she was 9 years old, and then she remained with him for 9 years, i.e. till his death. So, grown men running around with little girls is family-friendly fun in Islam, because it's how families get started in Islam. Baroness Shaista Gohir, OBE, the chief executive of the Muslim Women's Network, UK, told the Mail on Sunday that the organizers were likely in breach of the Equality Act. Kelly J. Keane, founder of feminist group Party of Women, said, banning women and girls over the age of 12 from a public charity event is plainly unlawful and reinforces regressive sexist attitudes towards women's place in public life. No charity should be allowed to operate under a different set of rules because of religion or culture. Equality before the law must apply to everyone. It's kind of weird to see Baroness Shaista Gohir complaining about the men and young girls only charity fun run because she normally complains about Islamophobia.
The Muslim Women's Network UK has launched a new initiative, the Muslim Heritage Month. It is in response to the rising and concerning levels of Islamophobia in the UK.
My Lords, I'm publishing a report today called Anti-Muslim Hate Concerns and Experiences.
There's 4 million Muslims in Britain. It's the largest minority community, and we are deeply, deeply worried about our safety.
Online social media spaces, public commentators, I think media as well, pushing a very anti-Muslim rhetoric. It talks about improving the way Islamophobia is monitored, and I welcome that. But what action will the government do to tackle anti-Muslim prejudice? She could have said, also tackle Islamophobia.
So, if I say something about the treatment of women and girls in Islam, I'm a racist, Islamophobic, hate-mongering bigot. But when Baroness Shaista Gohir points out a problem, she's just being a good Muslim feminist. Weird how there are always different rules for Muslims and non-Muslims. However, the mosque strongly denies claims the event breaches equality legislation. A spokesman said, "The suggestion that our event breaches the Equality Act is entirely incorrect. Single-gender sporting events are lawful under Section 195 and Schedule 23 of the Act." They're pretty up on this, aren't they? "And are common across the UK, including the Women's Run Series, Nike Women's 10K, and gender-segregated swimming sessions at Orthodox Jewish facilities like Manchester Jewish Community Centre. The Muslim charity run operates under the same legal framework as these established events." Did you see what they did right there? They said, well, there are women-only sports and activities in the UK, so we're obviously allowed to keep our events segregated. That's brilliant. It's evil, but brilliant. They twist the law to enforce Sharia. There are women-only sporting events in the UK to protect women from competing against men. And there are women-only spaces to protect women from men. But the East London Mosque didn't segregate their charity run to keep women from competing against men. They're not even segregating based on gender. They have little girls running. They're segregating based on age. No older girls or grown women allowed. But little girls are welcome to participate. Now, the reason for banning women and girls over 12 from the event is that many Muslims don't believe that free mixing is allowed in Islam. Free mixing refers to unnecessary social interactions between men and women who aren't related. But I see two glaring problems here. First, as we've seen, 12 isn't some magical age in Islam. Muhammad married a 6-year-old girl, and even popular Muslim speakers admit that Islam allows marriage to young girls.
But could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated if she started precocious puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible, as I stated. That's
what about
the
age
principle.
4?
If there are signs
3.
So this is something that becomes biologically impossible because precocious
I have a
puberty,
study
there are
that shows
no...
it goes as early as 11 months.
So, all the 5-year-old and 6-year-old and 7-year-old and 8-year-old and 9-year-old and 10-year-old girls in that race are fair game for Muslim men. If the goal of keeping older girls and women segregated is to keep men from lusting after them, the younger girls should also have been excluded. Why weren't they excluded? Second, this is what we call creeping Sharia. Everyone is shocked when they find out that women aren't even allowed to speak in public in Afghanistan. But popular Muslims in the UK don't allow their wives to speak in public. Ali Dawa, who has over 1.3 million followers on YouTube, has his wife communicate using a whiteboard.
But she's going to have her say with this whiteboard that I bought her. Okay, that's something my wife wants to say. Salama probably had enough as women give out. Okay, she's saying she made the video, not him. I don't know his opinion.
People think what happens in Afghanistan stays in Afghanistan. But what happens in Afghanistan doesn't stay in Afghanistan because, one, the UK government keeps importing Muslims from Afghanistan, and two, the Taliban didn't invent these ideas. These ideas are part of Islam, the religion that now has more than 1.3 million adherents in London alone. The UK is being Islamized, day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. When non-Muslims complain about it, Muslim feminists like Baroness Shaista Gohir call us Islamophobes. Muslim feminists think they can stop the Islamists all by themselves, just as they stopped the Islamists nowhere ever. Sorry, Muslim feminists, but you're not going to stop the Islamists because you're paving the way for the Islamists. You're the useful idiots who silence the people who are trying to help you and help the people who are trying to silence you. Have fun with your whiteboards.
It just backfired on you. It just backfired on you. This is a part of our religion. There's a reason to it. Yeah?